You stand on the edge. The ridge is high. The air is still. You are safe. You know the physics. You understand your own stability. Then the intrusion arrives. What if I just let go? Your pulse spikes. Your hands sweat. You do not want to fall. But the suggestion of the fall has infiltrated. This is not a desire. It is not a death wish. It is a paradox of human biology. We call it l'appel du vide, the call of the void. Today, we investigate why the most advanced machine in existence, your brain, fabricates evidence of your own destruction. Why does your mind hand you the weapon of your own end? Is this a glitch? A secret intent? Or a survival mechanism gone rogue? We are not talking about suicidal ideation. We are talking about something sharper, something colder. We are looking at the mechanism of intrusive thoughts. The void is not an abyss you look into. It is a mirror. It reflects the terrifying fragility of your conscious reality. This is not a diagnosis. It is an intrusive thought. Intrusive thoughts are the static of the human mind. They occur in everyone. You have felt them. The urge to swerve into oncoming traffic. The desire to scream in a silent library. The brain generates these flickers constantly. Most dissolve in milliseconds. You never notice them. They are processed below the threshold of attention and discarded like corrupted data. But this specific phenomenon requires a setting, a precipice. It is the sensation of the edge reaching out. You fear the thought because it violates your primary directive, survival. In that moment, the barrier between conscious intent and physiological reflex feels thin. You are not suicidal. You are not psychotic. You are experiencing a cognitive anomaly. Psychologists label this the high place phenomenon, or HPP. It sounds clinical. It sounds sanitized. But the experience is visceral. It is a sudden, jarring juxtaposition of safety and chaos. Your logical brain knows you are stable. Your impulsive brain imagines the trajectory of a falling body. Most people dismiss it. Some people cannot. They ruminate. They obsess. They start to wonder, why did I think that? And that is where the danger begins. Because the more you interrogate the thought, the more weight it acquires. You begin to treat the thought as evidence. You mistake the alarm for the arsonist. To understand this, we must look at how the brain processes risk. When you stand on a high cliff, your visual system detects a threat. It signals the brain, altitude detected, maintain distance. That is the survival instinct, functioning with efficiency. But the brain is a prediction engine. It is not simply reacting to the world. It is constantly modeling it, running simulations of what could happen, what might happen, what you might do. It is projecting futures. Most of those futures are mundane. Some are catastrophic. This is not a flaw. This is the design. A brain that could not simulate threats would not survive long enough to fear them. It calculates the physics of the environment. It models your movement. It simulates potential dangers to keep you informed, to keep you cautious, to keep you alive. Recent analysis suggests a darker reality. The call of the void is a misinterpretation of a safety signal. Your brain identifies the risk and sends an emergency command. Step back. Move away. Your conscious mind receives this safety signal as a desire. It is a translation error. The signal and the simulation arrive together, and your awareness cannot separate them fast enough. It reads the warning as a wish. Think of it as tactical deception. Your brain is not telling you to jump. It is screaming at you to be safe. It is using the image of falling as a deterrent. It is painting the worst-case scenario in vivid, embodied detail. Why? To ensure your compliance with the safety command. Your conscious mind is simply confused by the intensity of the warning. But this mechanism has an Achilles heel. It relies on your ability to distinguish between a simulated threat and a real intent. When you are tired, stressed, or distracted, this distinction blurs. The simulation becomes more real than the reality. The warning becomes a command. There is a second failure mode, and it is more insidious. When you catch the thought, when you become aware of it, your brain triggers what psychologists call the ironic process. The very act of suppressing a thought amplifies it. Daniel Wegner demonstrated this in 1987 with a single instruction. Do not think about a white bear. Within seconds, the white bear is all you see. Tell yourself not to think about the edge. The edge is now everywhere. The brain does not process negation cleanly. It must first retrieve the concept before it can suppress it, and retrieval is reinforcement. You have now rehearsed the thought. You have given it structural weight. It is no longer static. It has become signal. This is the trap. The more you fight the thought, the stronger it grows. The more you analyze it, the more real it feels. You are not solving the problem. You are feeding it. In 2012, researchers at Florida State University conducted a study on this very mechanism. They did not just map the thoughts. They measured anxiety sensitivity, the degree to which a person feared their own internal states. They discovered that individuals prone to misreading internal states were the most likely to hear the call. The brain of an anxious individual is constantly scanning for threats. It is over-indexing on safety. Its threat detection system is calibrated too high. Every shadow is a predator. Every edge is a sentence. When you are on a cliff, your brain creates a simulation of the fall. It proves, beyond any doubt, that you must stay away. It is a fabricated narrative. Your brain is terrifying you with the outcome, so you will execute the command. But here is what the study also found. The people who heard the call most loudly were not more likely to act on it. They were more likely to survive. They were the ones who moved back from the edge fastest. The louder the alarm, the faster the retreat. The anxiety was the system working at maximum efficiency, not breaking down, ramping up. Consider the case of a 28-year-old mountain climber. We will call him Subject A. He has climbed for a decade. He is experienced. He is safe. He stands on a ledge in the Canadian Rockies. 2022. He looks down. The thought hits him. He must drop his gear. He must leap. He is not depressed. He is not having a crisis. He is having a cognitive rupture. He experiences this for 3 weeks after the climb. Every time he sees a stairwell. Every time he stands near a window. Every time he walks across a bridge. The thought returns like a debt collector. Persistent. Unapologetic. The study confirms his experience is not unique. It is a systemic issue in high-sensitivity brains. But here is the detail that matters. Subject A never told anyone for 18 months. He was afraid that telling someone would prove the thought was real, that disclosing it would transform it from symptom into identity. That silence is the second wound. Intrusive thoughts thrive in isolation. They expand to fill the space you give them. Naming them, out loud, to another person, to a clinician, is the act that drains them of power. The monster is always largest in the dark. The rupture is not in the reality. The rupture is in the dispatch system. The alert is being misrouted. Why does this feel like a violation? We are trained to believe we are the authors of our internal monologue, that our thoughts originate from our intentions, that cognition is autobiography. When a thought arrives that contradicts our survival instinct, it feels like an invasion. It feels like an other, a stranger inside the house. Cognitive behavioral therapy has a name for this. It is called thought-action fusion. The belief that thinking something makes it real, that imagining a terrible act is equivalent to performing it. This is not logic. This is a cognitive distortion, but it is almost universal. The thought of falling is not evidence of a desire to fall. The thought of screaming is not proof that you are violent. The content of an intrusive thought is specifically, deliberately, paradoxically, the opposite of your values. Your brain chooses the scenario that horrifies you most, precisely because the horror is the mechanism. The more disturbing the image, the more effectively it drives you back from the edge. Science cannot fully explain why some people experience this constantly, while others never experience it. The frequency correlates with anxiety, with conscientiousness, with hypervigilance. But it is not exclusive to any population. It crosses every demographic line. It remains a ghost in the machine. But the diagnostic truth is simple. If you truly wanted to answer the call, you would not be horrified. You would be planning. The terror is the proof of your agency. The distress is the signature of your survival instinct. A person without that horror would be a clinical concern. A person with it is simply a person. What does this tell us? It tells us we are profoundly aware of our own fragility, but as a biological imperative. Our minds are not hiding death from us. They are using death as a tool. The void is a reminder. It is the sound of your survival system firing at maximum capacity. It is your brain working as intended to ensure you remain here. Next time you stand on that ledge and the whisper enters your mind, do not fight it. Do not interrogate it. Do not treat it as a confession. Acknowledge it as a glitch in the dispatch, a misfiring alarm from a biological machine, a machine that is, above all else, desperate to keep you breathing. Say to the thought what you might say to a smoke alarm that triggers when there is no fire. I hear you. There is no fire. I am okay. Then step back. Not because the thought commanded it, but because you chose to. That choice is everything. The thought has no hands. It cannot move you. It can only simulate the movement and wait to see what you do next. Animals do not experience the call of the void. They process the drop as a threat and retreat. No simulation, no second guessing, no translation error. We experience it because we are aware enough to observe our own mental process. We see the machinery of survival while it is running. We are the only species that can stand on the edge and know that we are choosing not to fall. That knowledge is extraordinary. That knowledge is terrifying. That knowledge is what makes us human. The brain is a master of deception. It lies to keep you safe. It creates horrors to prevent catastrophes. It hands you the image of your own destruction so that you will be motivated, viscerally and completely, to avoid it. The void is not calling you toward death. It is calling you back to life, louder than words, louder than reason. And as long as you fear it, as long as that horror rises in your chest when the thought arrives, the system is functioning. The machine is online. You heard the alarm. You moved back from the edge. You are still here.